Yo, what's good, family? Pimo, AKJD, AK Urban Politics, checking in on y'all one good time. Once again, streets of San Francisco, getting it in. Hey, so check this out, man. I just got a question for y'all, man, like, about us as a people, as black people, right? And I'm trying to say this with the lightest heart possible, but straight up and down, like, are we really a race of, like bad people, like losers, like evil, wicked people? What I mean by that? Well, think about this. When non-black people, okay, talk about interracial relationships or getting involved in interracial relationships, they're not getting in them because they're trying to run away from their own people. They're not getting in those relationships because they're trying to get away from their own people. They're getting in them because they genuinely like somebody of another race, right? But so often when I hear black men and women talk about interracial relationships and why they choose to be in these joints, there's always an underlying reason about something going on within their own group, within our own group. So the question becomes, like, are we that foolish? Like, are we that bad at working together to the point where we have to just separate from one another? And I mean that not as like you as an individual or me as an individual. I'm talking about us collectively as a whole, right? Because when you see that there is entire movements, okay, of black men and women in their respective groups to pursue relationships with people of other races other than our own, that's telling you something. That is a sign that a lot of black people are super divided, right? And then you hear like women, you'll hear men as well, but women talk about, you know, the high rates of success when the anomaly happens. And that anomaly is, you know, a white man marrying a black woman. Not that it doesn't happen, it does happen, but we know that, you know, 80-90% of black women who are going to get married this year are going to get married to black men. It's just the facts. And 70-80% of black men who are going to get married this year are going to marry black women. That's just the facts, right? So when we do have the off situation when a white man marries a black woman and that relationship lasts, what do you hear? Well, you hear from a lot of women, it gets talked about. They brag about it. Like, oh, you know, this is why, you know, this group of people have the highest rate of success in interracial relationships, as if that's something to be bragging about. Think about that for a second. So, and I guess these women are saying that because they're trying to say that they are not the problem, right? The problem is on the men. But the simple fact that a woman, a black woman in a relationship with a white male works out when they do get married at a higher rate than black men and black women doesn't necessarily mean that the woman is not still at least a part of the problem. It doesn't mean that. It could just mean that that is, and most likely it means that that relationship is working because that woman is happy because that's who she's happy with, right? So I think there's some social programming going on with regards to that. And I started to make a video early this morning talking about like the social programming on our people. And it's a question, like, do you guys believe that at least a part of the way that black folks behave is a result of social engineering, social programming, as I walk back up this hill? And I think the short answer to that is yes, right? I do believe that a lot of the daily interactions between like black people is socially engineered, right? Through things like, you know, hip hop, you know, different elements of society, different elements of culture, the way that the media portrays black men, black women in relationships, who they're in relationships with. You know, times have changed, right? Like back in the day, we had like Family Matters. We had different shows that depicted, you know, healthy black families and what that looked like. Well, now we don't have too much of that, right? Now, when you see, you know, black people on television, in most cases, if it's a woman, she's going to be in a romantic relationship with a man of a whole different race. If it's a man, a lot of times they're doing the same thing, or they're showing some drama, some crazy mess, some crap. And I think that to a minor extent, that's a reflection of our society, but it doesn't reflect the whole. It doesn't reflect the majority, okay? And I think that that's by design. Black folks have to understand this, okay? The way that we're portrayed in the media is political. It's political, right? There's a reason why You will never see the Jewish community, like Jewish people, depicted in the media in a negative light, because their history is not something to play with. But we as a people, on the other hand, we allow the media to play games with us as if our history is something to be played with, and it's not. And then also you have a lot of black folks who will sell out for a dollar bill and will allow themselves to get played with to our own detriment for the dollar bill, right? So they will allow themselves to get played with or to get utilized as a tool to push a particular agenda, as long as they get a dollar bill, they get broken off some cash at the end of that, right? For the bag. Regardless of how that makes our people look, regardless of how that persuades people politically, right? And I think these are things that people have to really think about as they move forward, man. So I just wanted to give y'all this, this nugget, man, something for y'all to chew on as you move forward throughout your week, because it's a serious thing, man. And personally, I'm gonna put it like this. I don't believe that we are a race of losers or a race of people that's like inherently bad. I just think that too few of us is willing to put the work in to do the things that we need to do, right? And that's a whole nother video, but I think the short answer to that is hell no. I think that people have to understand what their job is, what their role is, what their assignment is, and stay in a lane. And I think if people did more of that, then quite naturally we would have more success. I think if we started to really humble ourselves, return back to the Lord, of course, but then also understand what real love is, what healthy love looks like, then we could do a whole hell of a lot better. All right. So, hey, family, I would love to hear your comments on this topic of discussion. Hey, it's always going down out here. Always. What up? Yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, y'all have a beautiful and blessed day. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get back to my work. And I hope y'all are blessed in yours. All right. Till we chat again, I'm out. Deuce.